Wow, what odds you would have got on that top three. Norris, Sainz and Russell starting in that order tomorrow for the race. Lando Norris with his first pole position, which he took by half a second. Fantastic for McLaren to build on that success that they had in Monza. Daniel Ricciardo P5. And how far away that looked yesterday when he had to change his power unit and then missed a whole session, as did the whole grid this morning. So what a thrilling race we have in store, and we're on air slightly earlier tomorrow, 11:30, with lights out at 1 o'clock. Don't miss it. And we've got a very special James Bond themed feature with Aston Martin to look forward to as well.
You fancy yourself as James Bond, Lance?
Oh, today I might think I'm James Bond behind the back of that wheel. It's not easy!
Perfect. Wait to see No Time to Die. I love James Bond movies.
That was certainly a lot of fun. Right, elsewhere on Sky Sports, Europe need to fight back at Whistling Straits. Day 2 of the Ryder Cup is on now on Sky Sports Ryder Cup. And Super Sunday, it's the North London Derby on Sky Sports Premier League. Arsenal take on Tottenham at 4 o'clock. And then tonight at 8 o'clock on Sky F1, we've got qualifying for the IndyCar title deciders. Arrow McLaren driver Pato O'Ward and Ganassi driver Alex Palou battle to become the champion for the first time. And in boxing, it is a huge heavyweight showdown at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Anthony Joshua defends his world titles against the former undisputed cruiserweight king Alexander Usyk. There's a packed undercard too. Live coverage tonight gets underway from 6 o'clock on Sky Sports Box Office. Sky customers should go to channel 491 or Box Office to book this event. Virgin Media, BT and TalkTalk customers, please contact your operator. For more information, go to skysports.com/Joshua. It is Lando Norris, though, who is on pole for the Russian Grand Prix. Analysis, plenty of it, after the break.
When change happens fast, agility matters. F1 on Sky Sports is brought to you by Workday, a system for finance, HR and planning.
This is our collective history. Together, it's ours to protect. For new histories to be written, new records shattered, new legacies forged. CrowdStrike. We stop breaches.
Check this out.
It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before because they had to keep up with the clicks. No time for borders. Got to stay in control, to stay in the flow and continue to grow. But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
Hello and welcome back to Russia. It is Lando Norris who is on pole position in tricky conditions here in Sochi. Let's have a listen to how it sounded.
Okay, pole position, mate. Pole position.
Yeah, baby! Oh my God! Let's Oh! Yes!
Oh, I love how casually he just said, that's pole position, mate. And then the contrast with Lando Norris's reaction to that. Look at the celebrations in the garage. It means so much to them. And great, Johnny, when you think he'd performed so well in the wet until that crash in Spa.
Yeah.
You know, this has sort of been edging ever closer to him, hasn't it, all season?
Yeah, and he sort of said if he had this opportunity in wet conditions, he wanted to sort of what happened in Spa sort of come together for him here. Wow, and it did. And just interviewing him out there, sometimes you sort of see people and they're very happy with their pole position, but it's very, very rare you see someone's face and he actually can't believe it. And just brilliant. What a brilliant lap from him.
Well, neither can we. I mean, Damon, just how impressive is it from him? At a track where really they didn't know how McLaren would fare. It didn't look that difficult out there in terms of the track drying, but it was certainly mixed conditions, as we saw from the problems that Lewis had, which we'll talk more of in a moment. But just how impressive was that from Lando?
It didn't look that difficult, is that what you heard me say?
No, but what I mean is, there wasn't sort of standing water, easy for me to say.
No, but at the moment they go onto slicks, and I was looking at this, and I think someone's going to drop it here. And literally, as I was kind of thinking that, Lewis went and hit the pole. But so to go out on slicks in that iffy conditions like that, it takes every little ounce of your nerves and your attention. And Lando did a fantastic job of delivering, as did George and Carlos.
Well, let's talk about George, because he was the first to make that call to go onto slicks. I guess when everyone starts doing it, you follow suit. But to be the first is brave or potentially stupid.
It's potentially, yes, you're right. It's you're playing with disaster, because obviously it's so easy with these tyres to go off on the first lap or two when you haven't got any heat and you haven't felt what the conditions are going to be like. But once this grip starts to come, once the heat starts to come, you can build on it, and you've got one lap more advantage, knowledge, as well as heating your tyres over the other people who've come too late to the party.
Let's talk about Lewis Hamilton. So he had that clipped the wall going into the pit lane. What exactly happened? Just lost control briefly?
Yeah, it's not gone in there particularly hard, but you just see him turn in and then the back just slides out and bangs straight into the wall. Just, again, a very unfortunate situation. You can see he's fighting the car there. Oh, this is the spin, obviously, on the slick tyres. But yeah, the tyres we know are so tricky, especially with the temperature, core temperature. If it isn't there, it's going to catch you out exactly as it did there. But coming into the pits, it was just very unfortunate. It wasn't going too fast.
It's embarrassing, though, isn't it, Johnny?
It is embarrassing.
You also know 7 times world champion. It's not the sort of thing you expect to do.
Yeah, it didn't even look that hard, right? No, I'm joking.
No, but you only need to tap it the right way.
No, of course.
So, at a critical moment, he did make a mistake. And so, it's not what you expect of yourself. And so he'll be pretty... He walked past us, when walking past, he did look a bit down in the dumps.
Well, I mean, when you consider just how dominant they were yesterday and have been every time we've come here to Sochi, and it was a bad day for the team because actually it cost Bottas time in the pit lane and he couldn't get out for his push lap. Have a look at these.
So this is Valtteri waiting, isn't it?
Well, for a moment, we think that Lewis has got a problem. It's terminal with the car because he moves forward, but we realise it's to make way for Valtteri to come through, so here he is waiting. Yeah, and again, it's just a horrible situation. You're wasting that time. You want to be on the track, like Damon was saying with George there. You're going to get all that temperature that you need for the grip level you need on that lap, and that was something maybe it was lacking. That's why probably he's a little bit further down in 7th place there, Valtteri. But just a frustrating thing, and as you said, they were on top of it today, and it should have been there. Just shows, exactly. Yeah.
And what it's done, of course, is it's put Lewis at a time when he really needs to capitalise, maximise all the points because of Max being down the back, right in the middle of the thick of a bunch of hungry guys with nothing to lose going into turn 1. So not an ideal scenario for him.
Talking of which, Carlos Sainz, I mean, he so nearly didn't get through to Q3, but Vettel losing out to him by 0.05 of a second, he's through and up into P2.
Yeah, great. I mean, it's always an opportunity when you've got a drying track for all the drivers there. Little antenna goes up and goes, this is a great opportunity. Some make it through, some don't. But it's seat of the pants stuff, and terrific that he's managed to claw his way into Q3 and then deliver in the end. Fantastic for Ferrari. What a grid, eh? McLaren, Ferrari and Williams on the front row.
What an incredible mix.
Yeah.
And just a word on Daniel Ricciardo, because he's up to P5 at a time when he missed most of yesterday. Everyone obviously missed this morning's session, but he had that power unit change, Johnny.
Yeah.
And he really wasn't feeling comfortable in that car, was he, today?
No, it wasn't. And again, in a car that he hasn't been comfortable in all year. All right, had that win in Monza. But in these conditions, that's where you've got to have a little bit of feel with the car. That's how you've got the best out of it. And to be honest, I don't think he should be very disappointed with a 5th position, because tomorrow, different situation, and I think he's in a very good position to get a good points.
Thank you, Johnny. I think we've got Toto Wolff here. Where is Toto?
He's having a chat behind.
Oh, he's just having a chat with Valtteri. We will let them discuss. Oh, no.
I think he's coming.
He knows that he's been beckoned. Thank you for joining us. Sorry to cut your conversation with Valtteri short. I mean, that was a tricky last few moments there. I mean, it all came down to the last few minutes and the last few laps.
Yeah, it was. I need to go higher.
Yeah.
There is these situations which are really unfortunate. It's not even that we made a mistake or the drivers contributed to it. We were the first cars out in the session, and that's why we were in a sequence that either we would have aborted the last 2 runs on the intermediate to get 2 soft runs in, or, like we played it safe, finish the lap, which we did. And at the end, even without Lewis's kiss on the wall, we wouldn't have been able to do 2 laps.
Toto, in a very tight championship battle like this, you just don't need these little things going wrong, do you? Because they're going to make the difference. So what do you give a team talk or anything like that, but at Mercedes, and say, listen, don't panic, everyone keep cool, we're doing it, we do it the way we've always done it, it'll turn out okay?
I think today was no mistake, honestly. If you let me turn back, what we would change is maybe not go out first on the track, but go out a minute later. But knowing that this would have these consequences at the end is a crystal ball reading. So at the end of the day, it was unlucky. It cost us P1, P2 on the grid. And now we need to turn it around tomorrow. But these things sometimes go against you.
That's just a replay there of Lewis's knock. Did it actually damage the suspension, do you know?
I don't know yet. But the knock made no difference to where we were on track. We would have even been earlier over the line.
Yeah, then he couldn't get heat in the tyres, he was saying.
Yeah, it's a lap 2 tyre, the slick, and I'm sure we would have been fast enough for the front row, but with 1 lap you have no chance to heat it up.
Yeah, I mean, what happened here is this is when you had to stack the cars.
This is when we changed the front wing.
All
that
right.
was Lewis touching the wall and the front wing.
And that delayed Valtteri, so he couldn't get any...
that didn't make any difference. That was maybe half a minute or 45 seconds, which made no difference for us to go over the line.
OK, well, tomorrow is another day. It's expected to be dry. We know that this is a circuit where faster cars can overtake. So what can you do then? Can you still finish on the podium? Can you even win it?
Yeah, I think with Lewis where he is, we can win it, and this should be the aim if everything goes well. And with Valtteri, when he starts from 7, there's other considerations we have at the moment. If he starts from 7, I think easily back onto the podium. That must be the target.
OK, thank you very much for your time. Sorry about today, but tomorrow, as we say, is another day. Thank you for your time, and we will hand over to your driver now, Lewis Hamilton, who is in the pen.
Well, Lewis, you looked well set for pole throughout most of that qualifying, and then that incident in Q3. Was it just cold tyres coming out of the pit?
It's just a mistake from myself. Ultimately, incredibly disappointed in myself. Up until then, I was in the groove. I was really in the zone, and I'm really sorry for all the team that are here and fed back to the factory, because obviously that's not what you expect from a champion. But it is what it is. And I will do my best tomorrow to try and rectify it.
Yeah, but when you did get out, not enough time to get temperature properly in the tyres to give it a good go for pole on the slicks.
Oh, it was horrible at the end. Yeah, naturally at the end, very poor grip, very slippery when you don't have any temperature, and I was losing temperature during the lap, and then even twice in the wall. That's very rare for me.
What about the car? I mean, will you start from your qualifying spot? Is all of that okay? And can you look forward to winning? A good chance of winning this race. No reason why you can't from there.
Well, the guys at front have got good pace, and definitely won't be easy, and I'm just going to say my prayers and hope that the car can be fixed and it's hopefully okay for tomorrow. But yeah, look, these things are tend to try us, and as I feel terrible right now, but I'll turn it into a positive and try and do the best. But you got a Brit on pole, which is great. So congrats to Lando.
Go well tomorrow. Thank you.
Well, he's trying to remain positive, but he does sound deflated there. I mean, it promised so much more coming into today, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I think Damon sort of summed it up. It's sort of an embarrassing moment for him, and of course the other spins that happened on the track. But as I said, it happens like that sometimes. As good as Lewis is, these mistakes do come your way every now and again. But he'll be able to sort of, reset come tomorrow, and he'll be back to the Lewis we know.
Well, it's such a rare thing to see him make a mistake, isn't it? Well, two drivers who didn't make them were the Alpine drivers. They'll be delighted to get into the top 10, Damon. Fernando Alonso starting P6 and Ocon just tucked into P10. How kind of lifted and boosted will the team be by that?
Oh, very much so, I would think. And I've been watching just generally their performance here on this track and dry conditions as well. And they're looking pretty good. And I loved what I was seeing from Fernando, who's driving. I won't say at the peak of his career, because he's had so many peaks, but I mean, he certainly looks no less any good than he always does. So I'm really enjoying watching Fernando drive that car.
I've got a sneaky feeling, though, that Esteban Ocon would have expected to be higher up.
Yeah, again, I think you always expect to be sort of always quicker than your teammate. But I have to say with Fernando, I think he's better now than he was actually the last time we sort of saw him in Formula One. And that's what's brilliant with Fernando, because I think he's come back much, much stronger than he was. He's proven a point against, this youngster Esteban Ocon, a race winner as well. And I think it's good for us to see. Starting there, it's brilliant. Sick.
Well, let's hear from him now, shall we? He's in the pen with Craig Slater.
Fernando, a dramatic end to qualifying going on those slick tyres. Did you feel at one point anything was possible there, maybe even pole?
Yeah, you never know in these conditions. We were hoping for a good result. I think we got it P6, so yeah, happy with that. Let's see tomorrow if we can hold this position, because we know Verstappen will come quite fast.
Even from P6, you expect to be racing him at some point?
Yes. We saw Bottas starting last in Monza. He finished in the podium. I think Red Bull and Mercedes are in a different race.
Good luck tomorrow.
Well, by contrast, AlphaTauri had a really frustrating day, and it certainly sounded so on team radio with Pierre Gasly. Massively annoyed that he couldn't get through to Q3, and you have to say, Damon, he has just been brilliant in qualifying this season.
I was watching it with Johnny, and I was saying, I really fancy Pierre Gasly actually, and so I'm probably as annoyed as he is. You can see he's hitting the steering wheel. It's all gone wrong when it could have gone so right, and the car still looked good. It still looked competitive, and I would have put him down for, in any conditions, being right up there in the top, further up, like in the top 5.
I mean, wow, just look at these images, Johnny. He's so frustrated. It just feels as if it's showing so much promise. Pierre, particularly. Yuki's obviously not on the pace and has had a lot of accidents and issues this season. Yeah. But it just hasn't quite clicked for him. I mean, he's done incredibly well, and it hasn't translated in terms of the race. I mean, it may be different tomorrow.
Yeah, it may be different tomorrow, but I think what you've got to understand, and we both know how tricky those conditions are. You've got to be on the track at exactly the right time. All the temperatures need to be where they have to be for you to be able to sort of feel the car underneath you. And when they're not there, it doesn't really quite happen for you. Because like Damon said, we expected him to be one of those who had been in that sort of top 10 shootout. But sadly, that wasn't to be the case.
OK, well, let's see if some of that raw emotion has calmed down. He's in the pen now with Craig.
Well, Pierre, crazy Q3. I guess personally you felt you ought to be part of it.
Yeah, honestly, no, I don't have the words. I don't know. We're very competitive all Q1 and Q2, and then we stayed out with the used tires, which were dead. And for 3 laps, I was asking to box because the track was drying. We didn't do it, and in the end, yeah, we were nowhere with this used tire. And yeah, I just feel like we missed a huge opportunity, as we just saw now. It was a crazy Q3, and we know in these conditions you need to be there until the end, and today we did a bad job, yeah.
Did you get blocked by George Russell?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I got blocked a little bit. It wasn't even the point. Like, honestly, we just should have been out there on new tires like most of the other guys, and we didn't do that, and it was yeah. we need to review why we decided to do that. But now it doesn't matter. We need to think about tomorrow and recover because, we need points.
Thank you.
Johnny, as a driver, how do you park that emotion and clear frustration directly with the team to go into tomorrow with a clear head?
I think you've just got to sort of use that as an experience, because there are occasions, I think, sometimes a driver needs to make that call as well. And if he feels the tyres are that bad, you just have to say, I'm coming in, we need to change now. So it's an experience thing, I'm sure, that will pay dividends in the future. We know Pierre's going to be a good race winner, and he'll be able to, again, like Lewis, reset for tomorrow.
OK, well, someone else who just missed out on Q3 was Sebastian Vettel. Let's hear his team radio now.
K11, we're out.
No way!
500s.
Oh, way! Oh!
Well, Sebastian, I couldn't hear the audio on your radio at the end of Q2 there, but you're obviously just missed out on Q3. What was the issue?
I think we could have easily gone through, but I had traffic on the final attempt, which didn't help, and I'm angry with myself that already before I didn't put a faster lap in. So I definitely felt that we could have had a very good result today, but like that we are stuck more or less at the edge of the top 10, and it will be a difficult race tomorrow.
You think so, even though you seem to have decent long run pace on Friday?
Sure, but still I think in the race it's not an easy track to overtake, so it's much better to start further up and survive rather than being fast a little bit further back and not being able to make progress. So let's see what we can do tomorrow.
Well, Damon, it says a lot about the car that he was that frustrated. You know, he was up in P5 in the practice session yesterday. It did promise more, didn't it?
It did, and there's a lot of talk about luck, and bad luck and stuff here after this qualifying session. But it's funny, isn't it, how some people like Lando and George seem to capitalise on lucky situations, and that seems to me something that he's had to bear for a while. I think he feels like he's been unlucky a lot of the time, but it's something still not quite all there with Sebastian's performance. I think he's underperforming. He's not got that ingredient. Maybe a little bit like Daniel as well, who's he's missing the key thing that sparks him up.
How much can you create your own luck in these changeable conditions in Formula One?
Well, you can create, as much luck as you possibly can, but if you don't quite get it right at the right time, that is where you're going to suffer for it. Experience is something that is brilliant, but when you go to a track that realistically no one's really got any information in these conditions, it's very, very hard, like Pierre was saying. We should have come in a little bit earlier, and that is where sometimes it catches you out, and it definitely caught him out.
Well, it was Lando Norris who put it on pole, his first in the sport. He starts from pole position for the Russian Grand Prix tomorrow. Do not miss it. We are on air from 11:30, and after the break, it's Formula 2.
Sky Sports F1. Feel it all.
Agility and smart decision-making. A winning combination. F1 on Sky Sports is brought to you by Workday. Workday, a system for finance, HR and planning.